they laughed at your ideas. They mocked your silence. They called your dreams unrealistic, impossible, delusional. And the worst part, for a moment, you believed them. You stayed quiet while they got louder. You doubted yourself while they doubted nothing. Every failure became proof to them that you would never make it. But here's what they never understood. Winners are usually invisible in the beginning. Greatness looks foolish before it becomes undeniable. The people laughing at you today are judging a chapter, not the ending. Because one day, the same people who ignored you will study your discipline. The same people who doubted your vision will ask how you did it. And the same world that overlooked you will suddenly act like it believed in you all along. But that day doesn't come from talent. It comes from surviving the loneliness, the rejection, the embarrassment, the sleepless nights, and the moments where quitting felt easier than continuing. This is not a speech about revenge. This is about transformation. Because success is not loud in the beginning. It starts in silence, in pain, in sacrifice, in the moments nobody claps for. And if you can keep moving while they laugh, you're already becoming dangerous. Tonight, you stop seeking approval. Tonight, you stop explaining your vision. Tonight, you remember something powerful. People laugh at what they don't understand until the results become impossible to ignore. People doubted you because the world has been conditioned to worship visible success, not quiet beginnings. Most people only respect momentum after it becomes obvious. When a man starts small, he looks uncertain to the outside world. He looks weak, inexperienced, unimportant. And society reacts to appearances faster than potential. Other men measure him against status, money, confidence, influence. Women often observe whether he carries direction, discipline, and emotional control even before results appear. The painful truth is that very few people are trained to recognize a man who is still building himself. A man at the beginning of his journey is usually fighting battles nobody can see. He is trying to create confidence before he has proof. He is forcing himself to stay disciplined while being treated like he has no value yet. That pressure changes a man psychologically. Some become desperate for approval. Others become bitter and angry. But the dangerous ones learn to become silent builders. They stop talking about what they will do and start focusing on who they must become. Because deep down, every man realizes respect is rarely handed out early. It is earned after suffering, rejection, consistency, and the willingness to keep moving while people quietly question his worth. The loneliest phase of a man's life often begins the moment he becomes serious about changing himself. When he starts thinking differently, acting differently, and sacrificing comfort for growth, people around him begin to feel uncomfortable. Friends stop relating to him. Family questions his choices. Even relationships become strained because ambition changes routines, priorities, and energy. Most men are never taught how emotionally isolating self-improvement can become. They are taught to produce, compete, and endure, but rarely taught how to survive the silence that comes when nobody understands the direction they are heading. A man in transition lives in a strange psychological space where he no longer belongs to his old life, but has not yet reached the new one. Other men may mock his discipline because it reminds them of their own excuses. Some women may pull away because uncertainty feels risky when results are not visible yet. That pressure forces a man to confront himself without validation. No applause, no recognition, no proof that the sacrifices are working. And yet this is where identity is built. Because the men who eventually win are usually the ones who learned how to keep moving without emotional support, external approval, or visible success to comfort them during the hardest season of growth. The fastest way to kill momentum is to keep explaining your dreams to people who were never meant to understand them. Many men make the mistake of seeking validation too early. They announce goals before building discipline. They describe visions to people whose entire mindset is built around safety, comfort, and predictability. And when those people respond with doubt, sarcasm, or caution, it slowly poisons confidence. A man begins questioning himself not because the dream is impossible, but because he allowed limited perspectives to speak louder than his own conviction. A man with vision often appears irrational before results exist. Other men may laugh because they judge based on current status, not future potential. Some women may test his certainty because confidence without evidence can look unstable from the outside. That pressure creates an emotional battle inside a man. He wants support, but he also fears rejection. He wants people to believe in him, but deep down he realizes belief is cheap without proof. The strongest men learn to move differently. They stop trying to convince everyone. They stop over-explaining every plan and every ambition. Instead, they protect their focus, build in silence, and let consistency speak where words once did. Understanding that vision is rarely understood by people who have never challenged the limits of their own lives. Pain changes a man long before success ever does. Most men are taught to see struggle as a sign that something is going wrong, when in reality, struggle is often the process that forces growth. Rejection teaches emotional control. Failure teaches humility. Pressure teaches discipline. But during those moments, it rarely feels meaningful. It feels unfair. A man watches others move ahead while he fights battles nobody notices. He questions his worth, his direction, and whether all the sacrifice is even leading anywhere. That internal war is where many men break, because pain exposes every insecurity they tried to hide behind confidence. A man who learns to use pain instead of escaping it becomes psychologically dangerous in the best way. Other men may become bitter after humiliation, criticism, or setbacks, but disciplined men use those experiences as fuel. Women often observe how a man handles pressure more than how he handles comfort, because hardship reveals emotional stability, patience, and strength of character. Pain strips away performance and exposes identity. It reveals whether a man needs applause to continue or whether he can keep moving without recognition. The men who eventually rise are usually the ones who stopped asking why life became difficult and started understanding that hardship was developing resilience, clarity, endurance, and emotional strength most people never build. The world rarely applauds a man while he is struggling at weights until he succeeds. People admire the victory, but they ignore the years of pressure, confusion, sacrifice, and self-doubt that created it. A man can work in silence for years and still be treated like he is doing nothing because results have not appeared yet. Society is conditioned to reward visible outcomes, not invisible endurance. Other men often judge status before character. They respect money before discipline, confidence before consistency, success before effort. And that reality can damage a man psychologically if he ties his self-worth to external recognition too early. A man who is still building his future usually carries emotional weight nobody understands. He wakes up every day trying to stay focused while silently fighting fear, comparison, financial pressure, and the feeling that he is running out of time. Some women may overlook him during this phase because uncertainty feels unstable when success has not become visible yet. Others observe something deeper, whether he has direction, emotional control, and the ability to stay committed under pressure. Because even though people say they value potential, most people only fully respect it after it produces results. The painful transformation happens when a man realizes nobody is coming to validate the process. The same people who question him during the struggle often return after the breakthrough, pretending they always believed in him. Suddenly his discipline becomes inspiring. His sacrifices become smart. His obsession becomes vision. But they never saw the nights he doubted himself, the moments he wanted to quit, or the emotional isolation that came from carrying a dream nobody else could yet see. The moment a man finally wins, people suddenly forget how loudly they doubted him. The same individuals who questioned his ambition begin acting like they always saw potential in him. This is how society responds to success. When results appear, people rewrite the story to make themselves comfortable. They celebrate the outcome while ignoring the loneliness, rejection, and psychological pressure that came before it. A man who once looked foolish for dreaming too big suddenly becomes disciplined, focused, and different, but nothing about him changed overnight. The only thing that changed was proof. A man spends years being tested emotionally before the world ever respects him financially or socially. Other men may mock him during the climb because his determination exposes their excuses. They laugh at his routines, criticize his sacrifices, and question his vision because watching someone pursue greatness forces them to confront their own fear of failure. Some women may distance themselves during uncertain seasons because they are observing stability, direction, and confidence under pressure. Others quietly recognize the emotional resilience forming inside him long before success becomes visible. Because deep down, people respond differently to a man who remains calm while carrying pressure most would collapse under. The psychological shift after success is brutal because a man realizes respect was often conditional all along. People who ignored his struggles suddenly want access to his life. Those who once dismissed him now seek his attention, advice, and approval. His words carry weight now, even though he believed the same things when nobody listened. That realization changes many men internally. Some become arrogant, some become guarded, some lose trust completely. Because winning teaches a painful truth about human nature. Many people do not believe in the man during the process, they believe in the evidence after the process is complete.